and welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Tonight we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to our hearts, as anybody that listens to any of our shows knows that whenever we get to dining, we begin to salivate. So tonight we're going to talk about the non-traditional sit-down dining experience in Walt Disney World.
There's just so much about vacations that centers around food, and we get asked about it all the time. You know, where's the best place to go? Should I ever consider XYZ? And obviously, places you go, you order off a menu, you can do what you want. I've said it so many times before, but for anyone who hasn't heard it, you can go into a Disney restaurant and just get an appetizer or just get a dessert or just get a main course in the majority of sit-down restaurants. Tonight, we're going to talk about all of the ones that aren't that traditional menu. And for some, they kind of try and avoid these like the plague. We'll talk about that. For others, they find them to be a phenomenal value. And so we'll give you the good, the bad, the ugly.
Well, you say the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's not the order that we're necessarily going to take it in, so don't assume that. But there are a couple different types.
The delicious, the tasty, and
the gluttonous.
There you go.
There are a couple of different types. So what are we going to break down?
We're going to talk about buffets, all you care to eat, which kind of sounds like a buffet, but it's really not. Prefix dining, and then another unique spin on dining.
All right, so let's start with the buffets, right? Because from my perspective, sometimes they get a bad rap.
I think they often get a bad rap. However, if you're comparing them to what Disney calls signature dining, then yeah, they're not for you.
No, totally different.
It's definitely not high-end quality and presentation, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. I love a good buffet. I think it's a great opportunity to try some new foods. Honestly, it's a Disney buffet that got me hooked on eating salmon. I'm not a fish person at all. I would never order a salmon dinner because what if it came and I took a bite and I hated it? Where at a buffet, you can try a little bit of everything. So that's a really great thing about it. The other thing, and don't laugh at me for this one, I say it to clients all the time who have young children and are worried about their behavior during a meal. Buffets do tend to be louder. So the flip side of that, if you're traveling with somebody who's sensitive to loud noises, buffets may not be the spot for you.
But it's also for me too. My kids are adventurous, so it gives them a chance as young kids to try a bunch of things, like you said, trying your salmon. Like if we go to a buffet and they have an opportunity to pick a couple different things, my kids will. Maybe some adults will. So it really depends upon who you're traveling with. Again, what the needs are of your traveling party. But there's a bunch of buffets on property.
And it's also a good way if you're looking to kind of stretch your dining budget. I love for restaurants that do multiple buffet meals, like they do breakfast and they do lunch.
Right.
I like to do a really late breakfast because when I'm seated, I'm going to get up and get my breakfast food. But by the time I'm ready to go back and get some extras, the lunch food is out. So it presents that different opportunity. Also, when we talk about the buffets, you're going to see 90% of them are characters. So it is a great way to see the characters as well.
So do you want to run down the list?
You bet. The most popular that we always get asked for, Chef Mickey over at the Contemporary, serves breakfast and dinner all year long, lunchtime, certain times of the year. 1900 Park Fair, which we are desperately waiting for them to return post-COVID at the Grand Floridian. They will soon be back, hopefully, with breakfast and dinner. Crystal Palace in the Magic Kingdom, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And Hollywood and Vine in Hollywood Studios, also breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Tusker House in Animal Kingdom, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Cape May Cafe over at the Beach Club, breakfast and dinner. Boma at Animal Kingdom Lodge for breakfast and dinner. And Biergarten in Epcot for lunch and dinner.
That's a deep breath. You just rattled off an incredible amount of buffets that we have. And like you said, many of these are character experiences.
I'm full.
Yeah, right? The buffet of buffets. But the character experiences, again, are something that you should speak to a travel specialist about because, again, we'll use something like Cape May Cafe as an example. Like you're going to get it at some meals, you're not going to get it at others. So it's something that you really need to reach out to people that are planning your vacation and help them out, have them help you out.
That is so true. And I will say it's one of the spots where I think the Disney website falls short. If you filter by character meals, it's going to tell you, for example, Cape May Cafe is open for breakfast and dinner with characters. However, they only have characters at breakfast.
Correct.
But the website isn't smart enough to separate them.
So again, reach out to that travel specialist at Easy Diz. They can make it work for you. Anything else you want to say about buffets, or are you ready to move on to our next category?
Oh, I've got so much to say. Do you think I'm done?
You never know.
I'm going to give a quick rundown on some of them, if you don't mind.
No, go right ahead.
Because they are unique. Chef Mickey's, as I said, is probably the oldest one, the most popular. That's going to be Mickey and Friends. 1900 Park Fair. We'll have to see when they return. But again, they're another example of different characters at breakfast than at dinner. And I have to say, the stepsisters are an absolute hoot. As buffets go, again, not all buffets are created equal. I will say the 1900 Park Fair dinner, by far, I think is the most comprehensive that I've seen, the closest to high-end dining, multiple carving stations, really unique choices. All of the buffets will have a general buffet and then a kids buffet. The only reason it's my kids buffet is if you have that child that's only going to eat mac and cheese, pizza, and hot dogs, they can walk over to that little spot and be done. But adults can help themselves from the kids section. Kids can help themselves from the adult section. Crystal Palace is Winnie the Pooh. They do a really cute parade with their meals that I love. Hollywood and Vine, I think, wins for the most unique character dining and buffet experience. So they're going to do breakfast with Disney Junior characters, and lunch and dinner are Mickey and Friends, and their attire changes different seasons. I think Hollywood and Vine probably has the biggest dessert selection. They have their own entire large dessert buffet. So that's a great one to get into. Tusker House, as I said, I love to do breakfast going into lunch there, a little bit more unique foods as we're dining in Africa. And I love to see the characters dressed for safari. So that one is a great break. Cape May Cafe, as I mentioned earlier, characters for breakfast, but super popular seafood buffet for dinner.
Yep.
So great opportunity. Boma at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So in the hotel, not in the theme park. Boma obviously is African heritage. That is the spot where you can find zebra domes for dessert, and that'll be on breakfast and dinner buffet. They have some really unique foods. The one thing I will tell you for Boma is if you need something done special, you can often ask. For instance, I was just there a couple of weeks ago for breakfast, and they had tater tots, but they had a pretty unique seasoning shaken on top. You can ask for them without seasoning.
Okay.
And then the last one is Biergarten in Epcot. It's a great German buffet. It also has live entertainment, so I love going for the Oompa Band. The number one other thing that I hear from clients about buffets is I'm concerned about going with somebody who has food allergies. And I get it. I have that in my family. I totally get the concern, but I have to say they do a phenomenal job. Make sure you mark it when you do your reservation. You'll have the opportunity to mark the allergy if you do online check-in for the restaurant or mention it at the podium. Your waiter or waitress will confirm the allergy with you. And then for the buffets, a chef will come out and walk you through the buffet and tell you, this is safe for you, this isn't safe for you. This isn't safe for you, but if you'd like it, we can make you a portion and leave out the X. Maybe you're allergic to tomato or whatever the item is. If you're highly allergic where cross-contamination is a concern, you can also let them know which buffet options you'd like, and they'll select them from the back, because even though the food is separated out, people don't always put the serving piece back where they should and not use it in something else. So again, Disney is phenomenal with allergies, so please don't let that be the reason that you skip a buffet.
So moving on to the cousin of the buffet, so to speak, is the aptly named all you care to eat option in Walt Disney World.
I have very mixed feelings on this one. You know, the other thing that people talk about a lot is food waste with buffets. And I think, in all honesty, I think you have more food waste with all you care to eat.
Okay.
So what that phrase means is there's a preset menu that comes out family style. And it's different from restaurant to restaurant. So we're talking about Garden Grill, Liberty Tree Tavern, the brand new Roundup Rodeo, Ohana, and then I have two that I label sort of all you care to eat. One is Akershus, and one is Whispering Canyon Cafe, and we'll talk about those separately in a minute, what makes them unique. But at Garden Grill, Liberty Tree, and Ohana's Breakfast, they serve a skillet, and that skillet is going to have everything in it. You know, maybe you're there for breakfast, so a section of the skillet has Mickey waffles, and a section has eggs, and a section has potatoes, and then there's ham, and then there's bacon, and then there's a separate plate with biscuits for everybody. So you start with that, everybody gets a taste of it, and then you say to your server, either we'd like another skillet, they will happily bring you whatever you want, or we'd only like more waffles and more bacon. So when you get around to that second or even third, since it's all you care to eat, you can very specifically get just what you want. So those, again, the food just seems to keep coming and coming and coming, and even the dessert is an unlimited dessert.
It's like being on a cruise ship, only not on a cruise ship when it comes to dining. Just, I would like more bacon, please. Just more and more bacon over and over again.
You know, it's funny you say that, and I'm thinking about it because I'm set to be going on a Disney cruise in just a couple of weeks, and I'm thinking about what you said. And while I feel like I eat often on a Disney cruise because there's just so many opportunities, because the restaurants are more, especially for dinner, traditional dining.
Correct, yeah.
While you can get an unlimited amount of foods and seconds and thirds, I typically will have 3 to 4 courses, which I never eat that many courses at home. But thinking about it as you said it, I'm actually less prone to ask for more on a cruise than I do with these all you care to eat options.
Well, and I think it's because they established themselves as that. Like, you look at a place that is constantly praised for its menu and its all you care to eat option is Ohana. Like, it's almost iconic, right? You're challenging yourself in Ohana to keep asking for more noodles.
You are.
More noodles,
and Ohana's
please.
Great example, because I mentioned their breakfast, but their dinner is Rodizio style.
Right.
So it's a skewer of beef, a skewer of chicken, a skewer of shrimp, and they come around from table to table and they ask if you want some. So here, you don't even have to say, do I want more? Like, they're coming around and offering it up. It would be rude to say no.
Well, of course. Yes, absolutely.
So that is unique. Roundup Rodeo, we did a show all about it recently since it's new. Unlike other restaurants where it comes as totally prefix, here The main course is prefix, but your sides are all small dishes. You select them and you can get unlimited. I mentioned two sort of options. One is Akershus because they do their appetizers as an included and unlimited, but then your main dish is your main dish. The other one is the Whispering Canyon, which somebody told me is the original home of the skillet. They do a breakfast skillet, and their wording is a little different than what I was saying. They call it all you care to enjoy. It's not all you care to eat.
Yes, you might, because let's be fair, as Americans, definitely for our American friends, you can eat way more than you've enjoyed eating. That's just part of our skill set.
They're unique because they do 3 different options. So they have a breakfast skillet that's biscuits and sausage and gravy and eggs and potatoes. And then they have another one that this is a breakfast, a barbecued pork rib, a beef brisket, a citrus chicken, a buttered corn as a breakfast. And then a lighter side that's oatmeal and fruit and yogurt and turkey bacon and waffles and potatoes. But if you don't want that all you care to eat, Whispering Canyon is the only spot where you could order traditional. I'm going to have the Belgian waffles. I'm going to have the ham and cheese omelet, or you can order the skillet. And they have that same option for dinner. They have a burnt end nacho skillet, beef brisket, pulled pork, cheese, and salsa. They've got a plant-based skillet, or a one that they call the pig, pork belly, chipotle pork, mustard barbecued piggy wings, Western style sausage. So lots of great options. Again, if you're looking to have more, you don't necessarily have to eat more. You just have more variety that way.
So you got a couple of prefix options that I know you wanted to hit as well.
So prefix is the only time. I said earlier that you can go to almost any restaurant and just get an appetizer or just a main course or just a dessert. Prefix doesn't allow you to do that. You must do the appetizer, the main course, and the dessert. That is included for the preset price. If you don't want all 3 courses, that's fine, but you're going to pay the same thing. And all 3 of those are in parks. 2 of them are in Magic Kingdom, Be Our Guest and Cinderella's Royal Table. And then over in Epcot, Space 220. So those are nice for those that are very into budgeting. You know what you're going to spend before you even sit down.
We got a couple more things that I know you wanted to hit on. So where do you want to go next before we try to close out?
I'm going to talk about Storybook Dining at Wilderness Lodge, which is a favorite of mine. Again, it's a great opportunity for people to try things. It is a prefix menu, but it's a unique prefix in that everybody gets 3 appetizers. You don't get to choose them. They are changed seasonally, but everybody is presented a tasting portion for the table for each person of the appetizer. Then you select your main dish. And then there are 4 desserts, all in tasting portions for the table. So that is definitely a meal. When I had a client say to me, and after we'll go and get ice cream at Beaches and Cream, I said,
no, you
won't. Either one of them is more than a meal on their own.
I know that you and I have been talking, and we have seen the news come out, and so next week we're going to break down the 2024 dining plans that are returning. So we thought the sit-down discussion would be an interesting amuse-bouche, so to speak, before we go into the dining plans, because I know that folks have been anxiously awaiting the return of them.
I think we're going to have some exciting news. It's going to be actually coming out today as this podcast releases. And we know that there's 2 plans coming instead of the 4 that they had pre-COVID. And we'll be able to break down all the details, the cost, and then it wouldn't be Jeff and I if we didn't give you our opinion where we thought the value was and wasn't in those new plans.
Absolutely. All right. So anything else you want to talk about our non-traditional sit-down dining before we call it a show?
I think I need to go get a snack, so I'm good.
Well, thanks for taking the time tonight. I appreciate it, and have a great week.
You too.
That's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share on your Facebook and Instagram for other Disney fans to enjoy. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.